If you're launching your product and you're proud of it, you're doing it too late.
Around the world, there are thousands of young people making money doing something that they love and solving some of society's biggest challenges in the process. I'll be traveling across Europe, meeting incredible young people who have found success in doing things differently. This is the Impact Blueprint.
Finding a problem, coming up with a solution to that problem, testing the idea, building a business model, finding a team. We've covered all those things in the last 6 episodes, but now we're at an inflection point. We need to look at what it takes to build the initiative, to build the product or service that is going to have impact in the long run. And for that, we're going to the Czech Republic. Today, I'm super excited because we're going to dig into what it takes to take an idea and turn it into a successful social enterprise, but at the early stage. We're meeting a badass social entrepreneur called Laureen. She's inviting us to one of her events. All her work is about mothers. Now, being a mother can be a bit hell, just like this place that we're going to. We're going to learn about how she's helping mothers make their lives less hellish. Come along. I don't speak Czech, so I've just spent the last hours having no clue what's going on. But I'm convinced that that's going to be all clarified tomorrow when I meet Laureen for our one-on-one. What's your name?
Joanna.
Our waitress at this great restaurant is trying to start a social venture. So I'm telling her, see ya.
Sometimes you don't even need to chase a call to action because the world just gifts it to you.
Amazing.
And also in the video series, you'll find a link in the description to all kinds of resources to start your venture.
Oh, that's amazing thinking.
Yeah, check the link in the description.
It's a new day and I'm super excited for this one. We're right in front of Laureen's office. She's the expert that we're going to be talking to today, and she knows everything about taking an early stage idea and testing that to make it a successful venture. I'm excited. Let's go. Laureen looks like a rock star, and honestly, she kind of is. Her resume proves it. She led a startup during COVID and the Ukraine war, and she raised hundreds of thousands of euros for other startups over the last few years. On top of that, she's a female in a male-dominated field, and she's killing it. Hi. Nice to see you. We're on a mission to building the first guide for young people to make a living doing what they love, all while making the world a better place. You've started already a few projects and you've been involved in quite a few projects. So maybe first you can introduce Mamio.
So Mamio is an app for moms, and what we are trying to do with it is to change how online support for moms looks like. 4 out of 5 moms feel isolated in their new role, so we created a matching platform for moms.
Yesterday night, we were at your event, and can you tell us a little bit more about what that event was?
You know, what we do with Mamio is we find out, or we test, or we learn a lot about what moms struggle with. We started to ask, does it have to be that way? Why? We got together and started thinking, hey, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. What they call mother or child penalty. Czechia is really doing the worst in the European region.
Okay.
Yeah. And we don't really see any progression happening yet. I don't see any positive or significant positive changes. So what we did is we said, okay, we have a perspective, we have the network to pull together experts in the region, so that's what we did, and we kind of came up with a holistic plan on how child penalty can be lowered in Czechia.
There's a concept that gets thrown around a lot. It's the concept of the MVP, the minimum viable product, because this is something that's talked about a lot in social entrepreneurship, and that's not something that we've really covered so much so far. So can you just tell us what that is and also how that's kind of connected to the work that you do?
And the MVP is basically the smallest version of the product, the easiest to produce, that you would put out to test your hypothesis that you would have. And this really means that you would design a product that you're probably really ashamed of, that's really far from perfect, and you would put it out on the market and see how it reacts. So for example, with us, we just created a matching platform for Android without any filter. And it was really painful because you're like, oh, this is not good enough, they're gonna hate it. But you see that people still download it, use it, and that there's a need for that, and then you know that that's something you need to develop further. I think the MVP is a good concept for anyone who's starting to think about building a product, is because you will probably have limited resources.
So let's break it down. Basically, in episode 4, we talked about testing an idea. Similarly, now we want to test a product. For that, we want to take an MVP, also known as a minimum viable product. This is the easiest solution that you can come up with as a product or service that can help you validate your hypothesis. Once you have that, you can start testing. You can put that out into the world, get users, get feedback, and then you'll hopefully get more data that gives you an idea of if you're going into the right direction or not. If you kind of had to distill some of the things we've talked about into some advice also for people that are at this stage, what would you say?
Well, the first thing is you just have to do it.
That's the spirit.
I think going back to the concept of MVP, what you want to get is you want to find really the minimum structure that will validate your hypothesis, and you need to get that product to the users as soon as possible. And I really like the saying, if you are launching your product and you're proud of it, you're doing it too late. You need to get it out where you're probably gonna be ashamed for it. Even if you test it, and you should test it with the users in advance, you should have a test group, you should have kind of a community of early users who will give you really honest feedback. No matter how much you overthink the concept or the product and the business model, likely your first idea of how that's gonna go is wrong. No matter how much you overthink it, you're not gonna get smarter without launching the product. They don't even have to see the full working product. Sometimes it's a wireframe that you draw. Really just like trying to get as much of the product to the market or to the first users as possible would be my first advice.
All of this refers to the lean startup approach, which is basically what is the easiest way that you can gather that feedback at an early stage that costs you the least resources and time as possible. And all of this you can get more info on by clicking the link in the description. Where do we go from here?
I think there is a point where you have to start thinking about how to build an organization that lasts for a long time, and start thinking about how to increase your impact, but also how to make it sustainably for you and for the organization.
Do you have anyone in mind for who I could talk to for something like this?
So I would definitely recommend Pragulik. They have been here for a while, they have worked with scale, they had the impact, and I think they do it sustainably too. So.
Okay, cool. Okay, then I need to set that up. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, next episode, Pragulik. Thank you so much, Laureen. That was amazing. I leave this episode with a desire for action. It feels like we've hit a different gear. We've covered all the basics, from how to find a problem to building the solution. And now, from what Laureen was telling me, it's time to get into practice. We need to go and talk to someone that has put those findings into action and has built a venture that stood the test of time. Her name is Teresa.
I've been fighting a lot. I burned out many times, but I'm still here.